If you're someone who knows you're made for more, you've got a dream, but right now it feels out of reach, you've got no investors, no handouts, no perfect timing, then I promise you this. You don't need luck, talent, or a golden spoon. You just need belief, grit, and the courage to start. Because from 2015 to 2025, I went from a broke ass living in a share house garage with chickens outside to building a company that's changed thousands of lives, mentoring coaches around the world, and creating full-time freedom doing what I love. I'm living proof that it's possible, and this podcast is dedicated to showing you that if you have a dream, you have some grit, and you want to have a crack, then you can do it. I'm going to share stories of people that have done it. I'm going to share from my own lived experience, none of this influencer bullshit where they talk about it. We're only going to share stories of real people doing real things. And I really do hope it gives you some inspiration. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, please do subscribe, share it with friends, and let me know what you think. So, back in 2015, I was broke as fuck. I was literally living in a garage with a share house with some awesome housemates and stuff. But honestly, it was fucking like a chicken coop. I was in this garage in the share house. There was chickens living outside. I could hear them every day, like, "Bugger." There was chicken shit everywhere. I could smell it. And honestly, I just started to feel like a failure. Every morning I woke up after a 12-hour shift working in the kitchen, knowing I was in a shit place, but also somewhat positive that I could make a change. And this was really where it started to spark my idea of maybe I could change something here. It got to the point at that point there where I really wanted to give up. I was ready to give up. I actually rang my old man and asked if he could give me a ticket back to New Zealand. I got on the phone with him, was like, Dad, like really don't think Aussie's working out for me anymore, trying this personal training stuff, but it's just not happening. Do you reckon you could give me a ticket back home? Because, I think I'll just come home, I'll get on the dole, and I'll figure my shit out from there. What my dad said then changed the course of my life forever. He said, Boy, I've got no money. You just have to figure it out. He literally said, Look, I can't afford this. I have nothing I can't get you to go home. You're just going to have to figure it out. A few weeks later, I signed up to a 24-hour CrossFit gym. At the time, I was working 12 hours a day in a kitchen, and I was trying to work more hours so that I could get more money, just paying that hourly rate. And so I signed up to this 24-hour CrossFit gym, and I just started to focus on my training. At that time, it was something I still loved. I had my strength and conditioning certs. And I started to think like, I don't really want to do this for much longer. What can I do to potentially get my online business up and running? And this is 10 years ago. And so the thought came up that, hey, look, 5 years ago, I was struggling with lower back pain as a shearer. I had to give up that career because I was absolutely broken. Why don't I make videos on that? Why don't I try to make an online business helping shearers get out of back pain? And so what I did is a week or so later, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this video. And so I left my fucking chicken coop house and I rode my bike over to my friend's house. And at this time, this 2015, so I would have been about 30 odd then, I guess. And I was riding my bike. It was a piece of shit bike that I got off like Gumtree, I think it was at the time. Halfway there, my bike tire literally blew up. Blew up. It was hot as fuck, and it was like just a terrible day outside. And I was like, I thought about saying, fuck this. This ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna go home. But at that point, what I did is I just laughed. I picked up my bike, threw it on my shoulder, and I kept running to my mate's house because, like my old man said, you got to figure it out yourself. I knew no one was coming to save me, and I literally ran to my mate's house. I was wearing these like this baggy hoodie. I was wearing these like shitty ass board shorts. We had I don't even know how I filmed it to be honest right now, and I filmed my first YouTube video. And honestly, looking back on it, it's really funny. The video's still up there. It's 10 years old now. And I was just like, hey, my name's Dylan. I'm going to help you get out of back pain. And I looked hoary as I literally knew nothing back then. Like what I know between now and then is night and day. I literally knew nothing. I had no brand, I had no following. I just literally had belief. The cool thing about that is that video, I shared it to my Facebook page. I shared it to a few Facebook groups, and I just said I wanted to help people. Two people messaged me and they became clients. And literally that right there, there's literally from that one video from now I've probably made a couple $1 million just from that, literally that one video, because it got me my first two clients. It gave me a start, but more importantly it gave me the spark that I knew this could be possible. Not a lot happened after that for a while. I sort of didn't really see the opportunity in front of me at that time. Online coaching wasn't really a big thing. And I was just like, look, I'm just going to keep working in this thing, in this kitchen until I can get a full-time job coaching. I ended up getting a job at that CrossFit gym as a full-time CrossFit coach. And the only real way my online business was growing was just getting a few referrals. And I was like, look, I'll just keep coaching here and do my thing. I was getting paid, wasn't working in the kitchen anymore. I was like, I didn't really have the urgency to push it. In hindsight, I did not realize how big of an opportunity or the power of what I was building could have been if I'd have gone all in right there. And for those listening now, there's people out there that probably got that little spark, that little bit of, like, hey, I know this could be big. I've got people telling me it could be big, or there's something coming back. Even I just know it's big, and you're just holding back. You're not going all in. I really wish I had, and I really wish I had understood what going all in means. And I'll make another episode on that. Because once you do and you don't look back, everything gets out of the way. Um, at the time, my environment was solid. I had great people around me. It was actually making me comfortable. I was like, shit, I'm in a good place. I'm doing well as a coach. And I thought this is pretty good. I was pretty comfortable. There was no urgency, like when I was living in that chicken coop or had no money, or my dad told me to go and do stuff. It was just like I had no urgency. So I was sort of comfortable, but I felt like I could do more. My boss at the time, good dude, and but he sort of told me, he's like, you're wasting your time with this online stuff. Why would you even bother? It's just booty chicks, in their lounge doing bullshit workouts. And at the time he wasn't wrong, and there wasn't much money in it. There was no people having success. This is all pre-COVID. And he's like, you're just wasting your time. Just be a big coach. Crazy thing before that, I've heard that before. When I was sharing sheep, the guys who were like my mentors at the time, let's call them mentors, they were just like the older guys at work, said like, you're wasting your time going to the golden shares. Why don't you just stay and work? Basically, don't go chase your dreams. You're wasting your time. I went to the golden shares and I made the final and the biggest sharing events in the world. And I realized at that point that anyone who tells you that you can't do what you're believing in terms of your dream is probably a good sign that you should go and do it. Um, and what I realized is that they didn't see what I saw. So I became the person who did. I built that belief in myself and I built that conviction. And I figured out that, hey, this might not be the right choice, but I'm going to make it the right choice. Okay. Whatever happens, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to make it happen. Over the next couple of years, I worked pretty hard trying to become a better coach and I got the itch for more. A Facebook post popped up with a space to open my own gym. And it was about the same price as the rent that I was paying at this big commercial gym. And I thought, hey, how much harder can it be? I'll just pay my rent and I'll have my own gym. I jumped on it and went all in. And it legit turned into one of the hardest things I've ever done. My son had just arrived into the world at the time. We literally had no money to open this place. I think, we had a budget of about 5 grand. We ended up spending about 10 grand. For anyone that owns a gym or, is starting a business, you probably understand how ridiculous that is. I had no marketing experience. I just had a fairly good reputation in this really nice gym in Brisbane. And I thought that was enough. I thought build it and they will come. And it turned out it's just not the case. My baby boy had just been born, and then I was basically thrown into working really, really hard. For the first year, though, my enthusiasm, my passion, my drive, because I had a new baby, got me through, and I worked my absolute ass off. And I also had no other option but to make it work. And basically, what happens is we struggled along for the first sort of 2, 3 years, and really didn't go anywhere. Got sideways. By about sort of 2019, I was starting to burn out, and I didn't actually realize I was probably getting a little bit depressed because I was like, I'm working really hard but going nowhere. All of a sudden, Christmas 2019, we finally started to get some big breakthroughs. Our gym and our brand was really starting to get some traction. People knew who we were. The reception, the reputation of our gym was really, really good. And also we'd learned how to advertising. And so we were starting to get some really good clients and the business was growing. We seemed like everything had literally just turned a corner. Then COVID hit. Okay, then COVID hit. My gym was shut down. At the time, I legit did a video with tears rolling down my face. I was like, I don't know if this is what's going to happen. We literally were just doing really well. I've fucking got my job of helping people, and I love this. And I legit wondered, I was like, are we ever going to open again? I just had no idea. I was, because I'm a Kiwi, I felt like, hey, I'm going to get no government assistance. I had no parents to back me up. I had no savings. I just really got this business going, and I poured the last, 3 years getting this gym going, and I poured the last 5 years into this career that I didn't even know if it was going to exist, literally, a couple months later. And so what that sort of taught me is like I felt sorry for my clients as well, and I felt sorry for the people who were terrified. And what I did, and I didn't realize if I was going to be able to look after my son. Then for some reason, I made the decision to use chaos as the catalyst. Okay. It was literally adapt or die at that point. I was like, look, I want to stay here for my son. I could have gone back sharing. I could have gone in the mines. I could have completely changed my career. But I was like, no, I have to figure this out. It was adapt or die. And I literally took my last $4,500 and I invested in a coach. It's like, hey man, I'm going to show you how to go online. And $4,500, especially back then, was as a decent chunk of money. And I just knew something in me told me that if I invest this money, I'm going to do every single thing this person tells me. And literally, I paid my money. He gave me, a couple of documents. He gave me a once a week call for 15 minutes. Every single thing he did, I worked on for 12 plus hours a day to make it happen. I was like, I literally, if I don't make this work, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like I won't be able to see my son. There was a heap of stuff. So I had no money left. My motivation is at all-time high. And literally, when you're in those scenarios, it's honestly like magic happens. You have that ultimate motivation. You just need to put your foot down and make it happen. And it honestly always does. It actually gets a little bit harder when you don't have that sort of motivation, which is something I've learned to, reshift and rejig and rebuild. But I'll leave that for another day as well. 30 days later, I had my first surge of online clients, which actually paid for my initial investment in the program, which was pretty cool. I was like, holy shit, this can actually work. 6 months later, I had 100 members. Literally gone from thinking I was completely out of business to having 100 members online. I'd had more money than I ever had. The freedom of knowing I could legit just change my life by putting in the work and going all in. Since then, we've made somewhere between $10,000 and $80,000 per month, for the last 4 or 5 years, which has been absolutely crazy. I've helped thousands of people worldwide. I've presented all over Australia, New Zealand, and America as well. And I've met some incredible people. I've mentored dozens of coaches to do the same as well. And I've just passed that knowledge back down. Run 15 live events across 3 different countries. I've worked fully remote. We're actually about to move to Bali next year for a couple months. And we're earning over, $400,000 a year doing what I love. Heaps of other stuff in between that, but those, once again, are different stories for different days. I just wanted to share that because literally 10 years ago, sitting in that chicken coop, wondering whether it's going to happen, working a job that I didn't like, but I was like, look, I can work as much as I want here, I can get paid. And I just knew I had to go and figure it out. If I didn't do that one video, if I literally didn't do that one video, I don't know if it ever would have happened. If I didn't have the courage to not listen to my boss, go out on my own, if COVID didn't happen and force me to adapt and pivot, I really don't know what would have happened. And all of those moments that seemed like extremely challenging and extremely tough were actually the things that made it all, really happen. It's funny just speaking this here is like, it all makes sense looking back. You just have to live it forward. All of those little things, if they didn't happen, none of what I just said about these incredible results in our incredible life would have happened. It's really, really crazy. And so my promise to anyone who is, amazing enough to listen to this podcast, I'm going to give you a plan to do this. I'm just going to share this. I'm also going to bring in either people I've coached and mentored or amazing people. We're going to come in and get them to share their blueprint too, because I really think there are some amazing projects out there that the world needs. You just need the skill and the belief, and you'll be able to make this come to life, and we can fucking change the world. And this podcast may not change the world, but I know I'll spark the brain that will. And so here's my plan for today. This is the roadmap I still live by. Number one, build belief before you build the business. Okay. If you literally believe that you can build this business, take that step. Take that first step. No one's coming to save you. Every result is on you. If you want to build a business, if you want to build freedom, it's 100% possible. There's millions of hours of education and proof and examples of this happening. If you aren't in this situation right now, it's because you don't have the belief or the skill set. Build the belief and the rest will come. Learn skills that compounds. Okay. So marketing, sales, copywriting, leadership. In my opinion, you learn these and you can change your life forever. Okay. Once you understand, once I got those first one or two clients online, I was like, holy shit, this is possible, and that all came from learning marketing, sales, copywriting, and leadership. For the last 10 years, that's what I've put my time and energy into learning. And it's sort of gone like this over time. My coaching was a big thing for a long time, learn the marketing stuff, and it's sort of gone like this more and more and more. And in the end, self-leadership, self-empowerment and self-development is the stuff that never stops compounding. Anything you invest in yourself is literally the investment that will keep on giving back. Think of the first 5 years of either your business or changing your life is going to be like a low paid apprenticeship. Spend every single cent on learning and mentoring, and then all of a sudden it just takes off, like literally takes off. Every cent you invest in university year is literally the return on that is unlimited. Get healthy as fuck is number three. Okay, your body is the battery that powers your goals. If you are not optimizing and living at your peak physiological state, you'll find you're going to get tired. You'll find that stress impacts you more. You'll find you don't have an outlet, and you'll just find you do not have the battery to bring this vision to life. You'll find also that when you are healthy as fuck, you have more energy, and that brings back other positive energy. You get around people who are training hard and putting in that consistent, that disciplined. You'll find people that have resilience and grit. And you'll find that one habit, that cornerstone habit of trying to get healthy as fuck is something that will be a catalyst for everything else. Number four is play the long game. Okay. And it's not even play the long game. It's like play the all-in game. This is what I'm going to do. Right now, I may not make the right choice, but I'll make it the right choice. Okay, so after a while, systems will beat motivation. Once again, skill set, but systems come from the failures. You have to have the mindset, the belief that I'm going to learn along this way. I'm going to struggle. I'm going to fail. Every time I do, I'll find someone who's been in this position. I'll reach out to them. I'll ask them questions, and then we'll get the skill set that we can do to move forward. Consistency beats talent every damn day. And I tell you this because I've literally just done this stuff probably for 20 plus years now of learning of self-development and stuff like that. If I was to start all over again, I'd probably do it. And I reckon I could do it in a year, like literally now, what I've done in the last sort of 10, just because of like the lessons, the learnings, and the mentors I've had. That's the shortcut. If you do these four things long enough, freedom isn't a dream. It's literally just a map. Okay. And so for me, I grew up in a one-bedroom hut, no hot water, a long drop toilet. 10 years ago, I was living in a fucking chicken coop. And the only thing that I had was the understanding that if I wanted to do something, if I wanted to change my life, you just had to work for it. You had to work for it. I didn't have luck. I didn't have talent. I definitely didn't have a golden spoon, but I had belief. I had grit. And more importantly, I had the courage to start. I had the courage to, be disliked, for people to think I'm a fuckwit, and just to have a crack and know that I'm going to fail along the way. From 2015 to 2025, 10 years of proof of what's possible. Literally, I look back on it sometimes and I don't believe it's real. And if I can build from there, you can build it from anywhere. That's the promise. You've just seen the proof. Now here's the plan. Now I need you to do your